Josh Hoff is one of our experienced software developers here at Bitovi. He's been in the industry for 10 years. He's pretty much done it all, front end, back end, DevOps, and more, tons of different languages, frameworks, and tools. And today he's going to focus on shell tools, like the command line, which I love, pagers, pipes, scripts, curl, and that mysterious JQ.
All right, thanks, Mitch. Quick correction before we get started. The presentation was actually super long, so I'll just be doing pipes and pagers today. The first thing we have to cover before we get started is the Unix philosophy, which is that these tools should all do one thing and one thing well. They should work together and they should handle text. So with that in mind, some notation that we're going to cover today is for control keys. When things are typed, you'll usually see them in one of these two notations, which is either up caret and a C for control C, or C-C for control C. I have a little screen thing that'll show the key bindings on the left side there. So that's what you'll see during the presentation. And the final thing that we have to do to set this all up is learn some key bindings. These will be helpful because a lot of the tools that we'll be looking at eventually became Vim and Emacs, or at least a lot of them shared key bindings with tools that became Vim and Emacs. Okay, so we'll start with Vim. So Vim is pretty simple. J and K to go up and down, / to search, and then N for the next match. Control F and Control B to go forward and back a page. G actually to go to the top. Capital G to go to the bottom. And then help, or :help tutor to see the tutorial. And that'll walk you through some more stuff. And then Emacs, the only things we'll need today are Control N and Control P to go next and previous. Pretty simple. And then if you want to see the tutorial here, you just do Control H and then letter T. Okay, with that stage set, we can look into pagers. So pagers just let you flip through pages of text and allow you to navigate through it, but they're actually kind of used everywhere. Less is the most commonly used pager, and it supports Vim and Emacs-like movement, but it's mostly used with the Vim movement. So let's take a look at Frankenstein, which is a text that I downloaded earlier. So you can use J and K to go up and down a line, just like Vim. / to search, N for the next match. And then Control F, Control B to go through pages. H for help, and Q to quit. So these are used kind of everywhere. Like if you look at manual pages with man, you'll see that this is less as well. So you can navigate it more easily now. And if you look at Git, let's see. It's the same kind of deal. It's also using less. So hopefully that gets you a little bit farther in your shell. And now let's move on to pipes. Pipes are pretty interesting in that you might think that you just pass text to different programs, but actually they run in parallel. And so programs later in the line will consume text as it's generated. So you can have programs that like infinitely generate text and it won't cause any issues because these will just consume what they need. So in this example, I'm going to, let's see, count the number of unique words in Frankenstein. So first we use cat to print it all out. And then we use tr to translate, let's see, to delete any non-space and non-alphanumeric characters. And so you'll see it's all kind of like on one line now. And then we can use tr again to translate all spaces to new lines. Oops, I have quotes. There we go. And then you can use sort to select out the unique words. And finally, you can count the lines. So it looks like there's about 13,000 unique words in this. Some of them are probably contractions that we messed up with this TR, but that's still probably pretty accurate. And then as a bonus, you can also use less in these pipelines. So it's pretty easy to like debug these as you're building them up. And then to recap, we learned a little Vim and Emacs as well as the tutorials so that you can get started with those editors. We learned a pager called less, which is kind of used everywhere. And we learned a little bit about pipes so that you can mix and match all these programs. And while I open it up for questions, I will start playing one of the demos that I recorded on this thing. So you can follow along with these later if you want to.
That was very cool. I have a question to start it off. Which one are you Vim or Emacs, or do you go back and forth between?
Mostly Emacs. I started as like a heavy Vim user, but it really doesn't matter. They're both pretty excellent tools. Emacs has a couple of killer plugins that I like, but it's pretty fast as well.
Is iTerm your go-to terminal? I used it a really long time ago, and at the time it was really buggy, but I didn't know if it was better or if there's any particular reasons like why you liked it over the built-in terminal.
Yeah, I think it's iTerm 2 now. I think the built-in terminal does some weird things with like, you have to set things up if you want to like quit out of the shell and the terminal window, and I think the themes in this one are a little bit easier to deal with, but I honestly haven't looked into it that much, so I don't feel super strongly about it.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks.
Josh, what are you using to show the commands that you're typing over on the left?
This is Keycaster.
Keycaster.
It was like the first open source thing that I Googled.
Cool, thanks.